and welcome to the Hypnotize Me podcast. This is Dr. Liz, and this is the podcast about hypnosis, transformation, and healing. Before we get started today, I did want to let you know that there are free hypnosis files over at my website, DrLiz-hypnosis.com. There's one to reduce fear and anxiety. There's one for emotional stability. So go and download those. They're free. Just join the newsletter and you'll get access to them. And I also want to say I really appreciate the emails and feedback that I get about them, that people tell me it really helps them and helps their life. So that's wonderful to hear. And I also love the emails about the podcast. Like, keep those coming. I read every single one. So if you have a thought about something, you have a question, you want to send me an article and ask a question, I welcome all of that. I really love that communication and interaction with my audience. So today's question is, do hypnotherapists do regular talk therapy? And I get this question quite a bit, as do other hypnotherapists that I talk to. So I wanted to talk about it some today. So this is almost a trick question. Okay, that's how I see it. Because it may be someone calling up just wanting regular therapy. They're not really interested in hypnosis. And that's okay. Like, yes, most therapists who hold a professional license, like psychologist, social worker, licensed mental health counselor, professional counselor, like, yeah, we do talk therapy, right? That's what we do. We do talk therapy. We don't prescribe medication, the vast majority of us. So yes, we have extensive training in how to handle anxiety, depression, eating disorders. Like, it depends on your specialty area, but absolutely, we have extensive training about how to do that. And we continue to get training. So we have state requirements, because we hold a license, about continuing to get education around certain areas in ethics and laws and rules, all kinds of stuff. Now, you do have to be a little bit careful here, because someone may have a bachelor's, a master's, and they're a certified hypnotherapist, but they don't actually hold a professional license from their state. And that person generally is not trained how to do talk therapy. They are simply trained about how to do hypnosis for pretty prescribed, simple problems. So let's say childbirth, smoking cessation, weight loss, increasing your memory, let's say studying for tests, how to do better on tests, like those type of very, very prescribed problems. They're not getting into history or psychological issues or anxiety or depression, things like that. Okay. So be careful there that you're looking for someone who does hold a license, if you're looking for someone who does regular therapy or a combination of hypnosis and talk therapy. Okay, so we have that part of the question answered, right? Yes, most of us do regular therapy. The second part of that question, though, is this fantasy about hypnosis where you're just coming in, you're not talking to anybody, and you're just lying down on a couch and boom, you're fixed. It's like magic. Woo, right? That would be wonderful. That would be wonderful if I had like a magic wand. You all know I love magic. Like, I had a whole company called Yoga Fairy, right? And magic was the theme. So yes, that would be awesome, right? The reality is that when you come into someone's office for hypnosis, they should be talking to you, okay? They should be asking you questions about your history. What are you there for? What are your goals? Where are you in a change process? So are you just thinking about stopping smoking, or are you really ready to give it up that day? And that's why you're there. And have you tried before? Or what happened in the past? Like, when did you start smoking? What does it do for you? You know, it's this whole conversation. Smoking's an easy one to talk about. But let's take something like anxiety, right? So anxiety is what I call a mixed treatment, where you come in and we talk extensively about what things are you anxious about? What kind of thinking errors are you making? Like, are you going into black and white thinking where either you're like an angel or an absolutely horrible person just because you had a thought, right? A lot of people do this. Moms, right? Moms do this all the time. Like, they have some awful thought about their child, like what a little whatever they're being, right? And then they think, oh my God, that makes me such an awful mom that I'm thinking this about my child. And the reality of that is, no, it just makes you human. Like, that child just kicked you. And an appropriate response to that is, ouch, you little you little, you know what, right? Like not out loud, but I'm saying in your mind, right? What we do out loud is something quite different, but that thought doesn't make you an awful person. But sometimes moms will have that, and then they'll get really anxious about that, and that anxiety will build on itself where they start getting anxious about all kinds of stuff and then thinking they're a really bad person. It can get really dark. So that's another example. So for me to help you with that, I have to know what's going on. We have to check in every week. We have to do some history there about when did this start? When did it get bad? And what are the thoughts about? And what do they center around? We have to do like the weekly check-in, like, okay, what happened this week that you really struggled with? What happened that you were successful with? Like, did you take the exercises home and practice them? And then hypnosis is part of that to help you have another tool to use and to help increase your motivation to change, to help meet you where you are and also help you envision a different kind of future, a future that you want. But absolutely, we're doing talk therapy when we're doing hypnosis. It is part of it. All right. I hope that answers your question for today. So this is a little bonus right before I sign off. There was the sound of the cat door. I have a little pet door, and the cat comes in and out, in and out, in and out. It happened twice during a 5-minute recording. So it happens about every 2.5 minutes that the cat goes in and out of the pet door. And believe me, before I had a pet door, this drove me nuts. She would stand at the door and like cry to go out. As soon as you let her out, she'd cry to come back in. She can't make up her mind. And these days, sometimes she sits right by the door and just watches, right? I'm assuming she's watching her prey. I don't know. But that's what she does. And then finally she'll go out and then she'll come back in. So in almost every episode I do, you can hear the pet door at some point in the episode. I wanted to just tell you that before we leave. That is the sound you're hearing sometimes in the episodes, is the pet door and the cat going in and out and in and out. All right, people. Signing off for this week. I hope you do not have a psychotic pet. I hope your pet is happy and not anxious. If you have an anxious pet, you should go listen to the episode about hypnosis for dogs. Actually, it'd probably work for cats too, but it certainly worked for an anxious dog. It's with John Morgan, and that was an awesome episode. Loved it. He is like the sweetest man, and I'll actually even put the link to that episode in the show notes. It is episode 17, Hypnosis for Dogs. Woof, woof. Peace, people. If you like this episode, do me a favor and rate, review, and subscribe on whatever player you like. Or even better, tell a friend so that more and more people learn about hypnosis and how it can be helpful for them. If you want to know more about me, head over to DrLiz-Hypnosis.com. That's DrLiz Hypnosis.com. You can see the downloads and see if there's one that's helpful for your life. Or you could also join the newsletter and get a couple of free files, as well as lots of good content. I've written a newsletter for well over 10 years. Go ahead and subscribe and join the rest of the world. All right, people, have a wonderful week.